Congressman Waltz, I've watched this hearing and I've been really disappointed. And what's been troubling to me about your nomination from the beginning is your failure to just stand up and take accountability for mistakes that you made and that all Americans know that you've made. Everyone in this room, every one of us has made mistakes, but what America expects from leaders, especially leaders who are tasked with our national security or could be tasked with the position for which you're nominated for, is for people to stand up and just take responsibility, take accountability. But I heard you just blame Biden. I've seen you not only fail to stand up, but lie. You said about this person when you were involved in the sharing of sensitive information about imminent military operations. I've listened to you now for weeks and months. You said this journalist intentionally infiltrated that signal chain. You said that he was sucked in. You denied, deflected, and then you did something that to me really lacks integrity, is that you sought out to demean and degrade that very journalist in crass and frankly cruel ways that made him a target. That's not leadership. When you blame people that tell the truth, that's not leadership. When you can't say the words, I made a mistake, I could have done better, I learned valuable lessons from this experience. Instead, at a moment where our national security was clearly compromised, you denied, you deflected, and then you demeaned and degraded those people who objectively told the truth and criticized your actions. Smearing people, attacking folks, singling them out just furthers, it compounds what I think is disqualifying about you for this position. It also, to me, just shows profound cowardice. You should step up right now. I heard Senator Coons, I heard you being asked by Senator Kaine again and again to simply say, I was wrong, I made a mistake, I take responsibility for my actions. Unfortunately, what you're doing to me is perfectly in line with the way this administration as a whole has operated. I've never seen an administration that has made no mistakes, can't learn constructively from things they did wrong, has no sense of self-interrogation or integrity. And should they be criticized legitimately, they go on the attack. We have too much of that rhetoric, that divisive, demeaning, degrading, cruelness that's being elevated and celebrated by this administration that you seem to fall in line with. I just watched with great disappointment that even after weeks, if not months of reflection, you couldn't sit before this committee and take some responsibility and talk constructively about what's learned. Instead, you do what seems to be yet another creative tool that people are doing, which is, hey, let me just blame Biden. I want to take another moment to discuss concerns I have with this administration's approach to the United Nations and its dealings with African countries. Every country in the UN gets one vote in the General Assembly, no matter how large or small it is. So diplomacy and staffing at our State Department and their embassies really matter, but this administration has fired over 1,350 staff at the State Department, including whole offices that spearheaded multilateral affairs. Sub-Saharan Africa has alone, the member states have 49 votes. I've watched how China has done everything they can to court support at the United Nations and how we wonder why are so many countries voting against us. And I truly believe, and I've said this to the Secretary of State, that we need to start prioritizing African nations, start focusing on what I believe is urgently within our national interests, if not our national security interests. It seems to me that we are ceding and surrendering Sub-Saharan Africa to China, who is stepping up more and more and filling in the void of our leadership. So I have no questions for you, sir. I have nothing but deep disappointment in what I consider a failure of leadership on your part. God, America needs now more than ever, forget the partisanship, just people to step up and show heart and integrity and honor. When you lie, defer, deflect, demean, and degrade journalists, to me, it's absolutely unacceptable. I have no questions. I cannot support your nomination. I think you've shown a failure of leadership at a time that America especially needs people of honor to stand up and show what leadership actually is.